As a country, how did you feel about Turkey?
You find your own crowd there.
How easy is to be a guru at ClickUp?
So that's a loaded question because with so it's a software that
How do you cope up with the new trends, the new algos, the AI thing?
we need that we are up to date with the things that are necessary to excel and grow our skills.
Hello, everyone. Another episode of Know Your VA. And today I have Maheen with me. Welcome, Maheen.
Happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. We'll come to RepStack later. Where are you from? What school did you go to? And your university?
Born and raised in Lahore, and then I did my A-levels from Lahore Grammar School Defense, and then I went to Turkey for my undergrad, and I graduated in 2023.
How was your experience at Turkey?
It was amazing. It was I think the best decision I took, go abroad for my undergrad. Very eye-opening, character development-wise.
And I'm sure there are a lot of friends who were from LGS and who were studying in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Did you ever share notes, and what were the main differences that you found?
Yeah, the age of social media, so everyone just is able to stay in touch. Plus with COVID happening, it was just, you had to rely on each other for, support. So I feel like the biggest difference was probably just life outside the education spectrum, like just being able to live on your own, experience that kind of autonomy, making your own decisions. It was good for that necessary development at that time. Yeah.
And as a country, how did you feel about Turkey? Very different from us, or partially different, or no, not so different?
I feel like it's like a melting pot. There's a lot going on. So you can find all kinds of people there. It's a secular state, but there's also a Muslim majority. So it's like you find your own crowd there. There's no compulsion in anything. So you don't really feel like you have to fit a certain mold. So that was great.
And what about a lot of international students, or were you friends with a lot of international students, or the locals as well?
A mix of both. There were a lot of Pakistanis actually, which surprised me. You have to surround yourself with people you are comfortable with. And sometimes those are people from your own country as well.
Yeah, definitely. Financially, how is it? Like any other European country, or of course, your university fees and all?
So Turkey isn't a part of the EU, so there's definitely a big difference between education in Turkey and education from an institute in Europe. It was definitely more affordable, and I also had a scholarship, so that definitely helped that transition.
Nice. And so you came back.
Yeah.
And so was RepStack your first job, or you did something else before that?
So I was doing a digital marketing job remotely part-time while I was pursuing my studies, and it was in email marketing. And then I left that job, and then obviously I was like, can't take that unemployed era for too long. So then I had to do my research, and I found RepStack, and RepStack had a really prominent reputation ahead of it. So it really aided me in making my decision to apply for this position.
And working from home was your priority, or was it just because it was work from home?
I feel like COVID really changed that for people, because before that you had to come to that realization that, okay, you have to work from the office. But COVID made things so different that working from home became a very easy opportunity. So it wasn't a priority, but with this particular offer that RepStack was giving, I was like, it's a very good benefit with the position. So why not?
Awesome. And how did you apply? How was the process getting into RepStack and all?
It was very structured, which I appreciated. I applied through LinkedIn. I saw there was a listing for an opening. And then I had my interview. I had my first interview. Then I had my second interview. There was the screening call at the start as well. And then I had a full onboarding and everything. So I really appreciated how structured it was.
Yeah, these guys are thorough.
Yeah.
Literally, I've tried to pursue them with a few resumes, but they don't budge. Yeah. So no, I'm glad that the process is working, and that's what matters. Then you joined RepStack, and it's RepStack Success Academy. How was your experience there?
At RSA, when I joined RSA, it was actually a bit intimidating because I didn't know what to expect. And then obviously you're in this group of people who, there's people from a lot of different backgrounds. So someone's got 10 years of experience, someone's new, someone's just passing through, coming back from a client. So it gets a little, you don't really know where to place yourself. But overall, I think my experience was pretty good because I was in RSA for 1 month and then I got placed with my client and I've been with that client ever since.
And so did RSA prepare you well enough for that client, or did you have to do a lot of work once you got to the client?
No, definitely RSA really helped because all of the training modules that we had, I really stuck with them. I was like, if I'm in RSA, I'm going to do everything that's needed to be good here. And that actually helped me with landing my client, and then it was smooth sailing from there.
Is it true that people say that a couple of people have said that when we went to the client, we thanked that, all right, now life is better. Is it that bad?
I actually, when I was in RSA, I had a few friends who were literally like, once you're in with a client, it's gonna be smooth sailing. Just pray you don't go back to RSA. And I see why that sentiment is there, because after a point when you're done with all your trainings, then there's really not much to do. So then you're like anxious for that next step.
And I think it's very important that also tests you mentally, that how strong you are, because a lot of people then leave at that point, and that's what I think the RSA wants as well. You don't want to send somebody who's not willing to be working hard with the client and all. And then comes Casey Richardson. Casey's a great friend, and I'm glad you're working with him. How is the transition, and what was your role when you started?
So with Casey, I joined on as a project manager. We basically needed someone to build out the entire ClickUp system for Casey's agency from scratch. So it was me and a team of 2 other people. And my first major project joining on immediately was to get that done. So I was put in charge of that. And thanks to the training that I had from RSA and my previous work experience as well, and Casey's faith in me was the biggest thing. He really encouraged me. I was out of my depth at the start. Oh my God, what am I doing? But he really encouraged me. I hired you because I know you can do this. And, I fulfilled that project within the timeline, and we did exceptionally well. And it was just great from there onwards.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about ClickUp. What's ClickUp, and how easy is to be a guru at ClickUp?
So that's a loaded question, because with so it's a software that helps you manage projects. It's basically a project management and efficiency tool. And we use it to store our databases for our clients. And then I also had a training that Casey provided that teaches you how to build ClickUp for agencies. And then part of that was to track team productivity as well. So for me, I was able to learn it pretty quickly, but then I also had to make sure that my team used it and they were tracking time and showing their productivity as well. So getting people to use ClickUp is always going to be a challenge, because if someone's not on it all the time, there's always going to be that barrier of learning.
And people don't want change as well.
Yeah, that was actually one of the biggest challenges that I faced. I could sense that hesitation from the team, where they were just like, why do we have to change things up? But everyone was a team player, and then we got things going and it was good.
So how big is Casey's team, and are they all placed inside US, Pakistan, or there are other people from other places as well?
Yeah, so I think with my team, I'm lucky because most of us are from RepStack. So all of Casey's VAs are from RepStack. And then we have our administrative members are from the US. So we are currently a team of 5 VAs. And then I have my operations manager, he's David. And then we have Casey.
And how difficult is it to culturally connect with? You have that advantage of being in Turkey for a while and connecting with a lot of people. But overall, how easy is to connect with somebody who's working from US and culturally connect with them?
I think the first thing is to just not be intimidated, because I feel like we do have that in our culture. It's a thing. We just get intimidated by people from abroad or something. They're just people like us. And then the second thing I feel like is just how aware you are about other cultures as well. It's especially with the US culture, because it's so popular in the media as well. So you really...
Thanks to Netflix and...
Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it depends on how online you are.
Yeah.
Because then you're able to connect with them more easily as well.
Yeah. And do you guys have a weekly company-wide meeting, or like monthly, or it never happens?
Yeah, we do weekly cadences. We have L10 meetings. Those are level 10 administrative meetings. And we do like a company-wide audit, basically, of everything. We check our benchmarks, go over our KPIs, just do a pulse on everyone, make sure things are flowing smoothly.
And your day, how does that look like when you start your day? Let's talk about your personal. What time do you wake up? And because it's not easy for everyone to work nights as well.
Yeah.
It is a challenge in itself, definitely. For most of the people. So for some, it's not.
Yeah.
But so how do you cope with that? And how does your day look like at work?
Yeah, I feel like that was actually one of the biggest learning curves for me with this job, because with Casey, it's West Coast timing. So my work day ends at either 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning. It's crazy, yeah. So whenever I tell someone that I work the graveyard shift, they're like, how do you function? I'm like, I have no idea. But I'm also the kind of person where I don't like sleeping in till like it's dark outside. So even if I sleep at 7 a.m., I want to be up during the day, get some sun. You know, my internal clock doesn't go out of control completely. So yeah, it's a work-life balance is really important.
Yeah, and weekends are there. Weekends are something to
weekends are where you like decompress a little.
Yeah. And what about work? Like when you start, how does you, because you're a project manager, right? So how have you defined your work there? Right, this is my first task. This is how my day will look like usually.
Yeah. So with this role, it's a lot of team coordination and then also a lot of overseeing things, because I have to maintain our databases. I also have to make sure that things are being done on the timelines that we've set them on. And then there's also like overseeing some financials, and then also just keeping an eye on everything team-wise as well, productivity-wise. So for me, check Slack, check that client delivery is being done on time, make sure all of our accounts are being handled properly, and if there's any like communication needed to be done with our upper administrative management, make sure that happens. So it's a lot of like intermediary work. Yeah.
And how to put that question? Do you see yourself being, because you've mentioned it a couple of times, that our team, the high-level team, do you think you will make it to the hierarchy that's right now running from US? Do you think you can be part of that hierarchy, like directly work with Casey on that level? That somebody, I think David, you mentioned somebody
David's my
who's working from the US.
Yeah.
So do you think you can make it to that point?
A VA's biggest hope is that they get direct hired with the client. So that really comes down to your relationship with your client and where their agency's at and what your worth is to them.
Because we've had examples like literally somebody from RepStack working as a CEO, working as the sales head of companies. So that's where I was leaning towards. And what about day to day? How do you cope up with the digital marketing? Because this is a fast-paced world, definitely. How do you cope up with the new trends, the new algos, the AI thing? How do you cope up with that?
So with Casey, the great thing is that he's a powerhouse of information. He will make sure that his team is just as well equipped as he is. For example, we currently are transitioning to Notion for our coaching program called Ad School. He made sure that he bought us the best training that there is for Notion. He is putting me through it. I'm building out their Notion for them.
Nice.
He's really proactive in that sense. He makes sure that we get the resources that we need, that we are up to date with the things that are necessary to excel and grow our skills. He's really helpful with that as well.
And what about like any changes in ClickUp and things like that? Are you like regularly searching on them, or it's just when you need them you just go on and then find whatever has changed? Or
yeah, I feel like it's a mix of both. It depends on troubleshooting. If there's a trouble, then you have to go around it, find a solution for that, and that's how it goes.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about your maybe personal life. Do you work out? Do you get time to do that, or it's just work?
No, I strongly believe that a work-life balance is really important. Otherwise, you just lose yourself. I do work out. I try to get some exercise in. I do hit the gym when I get time to, but I try to stay active as well beyond that.
Awesome. And what do you do usually on the weekends?
My weekends, so with the winters, I slow down during the winters.
Of course, everyone does.
Yeah, so I've become more of a homebody, but in the summers it was like go out, meet up with friends, grab coffee. So I live in DH. It became a habit. Get up, go out for coffee, go run some errands, get some sun, and then just have some me time, read a book or something. And
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. And you've gone through that 4 years in Turkey
Yes.
and then this work as well.
Yeah.
So people who are just starting off or thinking of converting to digital marketing as their career, any advice for them that you would like to, maybe somebody would have given it to you earlier and then you would have done that better?
I feel like the biggest thing is that do your research, figure out what you're good at, and really go in on those skills, because most of the, like, a big chunk of getting hired is your personality and how you present your skills. So even if you're skilled but you're not confident in those skills, then it won't translate to the person who wants to hire you. So you have to sell that to them. So just really first be in touch with your own skill set and then how to communicate that to the person who's going to hire you.
You think personal relationships are important and they do help you with work?
Definitely. I feel like it's not just robot A and robot B. You have to connect with the other person, let them see that you are a human being, see that they're a human being as well, and just take it from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything, any funny incident, anything that tells a little bit about the cultural dynamics of RepStack or cultural dynamics of your work? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, I actually am not that in touch with my other associates at RepStack because my time is spent mostly with craft. But we did do this. We pulled this really funny prank on my operations manager, David, on his birthday like a couple of weeks ago. So all of us decided to change our Slack display profile pictures to David's.
Oh.
And then when we all signed in, so David does this thing where he's always like, morning team. And then everyone in the thread under it just started writing morning team. And he was like, wait, what, am I tripping? And then it was just like, happy birthday, David. And it was really cute.
Nice. It was a pleasure talking to you, Maheen. And it's so heartwarming seeing people like you doing so well. And I'm glad that we're showcasing our talent from Pakistan to the international world as well. And really proud of you. This is what we give to everybody who's coming to my podcast.
Oh my God.
So this is for you.
I finally got the Yeti bottle.
Yeah, you got the Yeti bottle.
This
I
is what
hope
it's
you
all
take
about.
care of it.
I'm going to cherish this.
Yeah.
I did need a new bottle.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Thank you.